What's up, guys? Albert here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are breaking down Providence Mayor's Brett Smiley's budget proposal. Before we get into the video, subscribe to our channel if you have any questions. This is what we do here. We talk about Rhode Island. We talk about real estate. If you're looking to buy, if you're looking to sell, invest in Providence and other cities and towns and counties around, do not hesitate to reach out. If you find some value in this video, share it with someone. This is how this channel grows. It grows by word of mouth, and we appreciate your support. Let's get into the video. This information is taken out of a Providence Journal article written by Amy Russo, and we will kind of go through a couple of main things that were covered in the proposal from the mayor. I think a couple of things were super important to be addressed, and super important that you as a Rhode Islander, somebody who lives in Providence, or if you're looking to move or invest in Providence, can get from this, because they do cover a couple of really important things. So, Providence Mayor Brett Smiley's first city budget, which has grown from his predecessor's $567.3 million to nearly $586 million, seeks to raise residential property taxes while tackling a wave of quality of life vows from safety to housing and more. In prepared remarks that were to be delivered to the City Council on Tuesday night, hours after reporters received a brief budget summary, Smiley took aim at former Mayor George Alorza's administration for irresponsibly low tax rates ahead of what Smiley expects to be a recession. Now, not only Smiley expects this to be a recession, we also expect it to be a recession. Everybody's been talking about a recession for a long time now. Some may argue that we even are in a recession already. So there's some drastic measures that Mayor Smiley is preparing to take in order to tackle the city's main issues that we have. Smiley is proposing cutting the commercial property tax rate by 3.8%, predicting it may help reduce rents. Now, that makes sense if you think about it. If you cut commercial tax rate by 3.8%, it may incentivize landlords to give better deals on rents, therefore have more small businesses rent property and have a little bit less to worry on paying rent and paying high rental amounts in Providence. And also, if you look at recession data, if you look at the last 3 years, commercial real estate has suffered way more than residential real estate has suffered, especially, obviously compared to like bigger cities like New York and LA or Austin. Providence is different, but the city has commercial real estate is certainly in a different bracket when it comes to the recession, because it reflects the whole movement of people working from home, people not wanting to go back in the office. There's more empty buildings, and there's certainly a concern. So I do think it's a good idea if the budget allows it. I think a 3.8% cut in the tax rates could be extremely beneficial for the city. And then he also proposes a modest increase of 4.8% tax to residential real estate, to hike the rate by 4.9%. That would take Providence from the 8th lowest property tax rate in the state to the 11th lowest. The proposed budget would boost the residential rate to $18.70 per 1,000 and cut the owner-occupied homestead exemption to 40%, about 5 percentage points less than the current level. It would also cut the commercial rate to $34.10 per 10,000. This will mark the first time that the residential rate has risen since 2013, and the first time the commercial rate has declined in nearly that long. Smiley also blamed Alorza for the current situation, criticizing his use of precious American Resource Plan Act dollars on what the mayor feels are unsustainable projects. In the last 3 years, one-time federal funding was used to cover budget gaps that now exist without a permanent solution. Smiley said in his written speech, frustrated that taxes were cut to historic lows, even though we service the most people and nearly half of the land is tax exempt. This is correct. Providence is a highly populated city compared to other towns and cities in Rhode Island, and it has some of the lowest taxes in the state. Now that makes sense, especially if there is money issues and there's not enough money to cover expenses. Taxes were cut. Smiley has pointed out his plan to tax nonprofit-owned commercially used properties as a way to balance the equation, but that solution is likely to earn the city much compared to the size of its budget. Nor has the city thoroughly identified the additional entities it would tax. So basically, nonprofit organizations that do rent their facilities to companies, they basically are planning to tax that. A couple of other important things were on public safety and funding for a commissioner. So set to address ATVs, noise ordinances, and the drug crisis. In his speech, Smiley wants nearly $108 million for the police department, in part to fund a new academy of 50 officers who would join the 30 already on their way to graduation. He also wants $91 million for the fire department, which is being attributed to the academy expenses. Now, I think that's a good idea because if you live in Providence, or also if you're in Rhode Island, you know that we do have a ATV and road bike problem, especially in the summer. It's loud, and there's just hundreds of road bikes somewhere. Sometimes around downtown in the area where, it could get dangerous and all that, and there's a lot of people who complain, and it has become an issue. We've actually talked about this before in the channel a couple years ago, so I'm kind of glad that it is being addressed and something is being done about it. And I hope that they can address that issue. All right, there's a couple of other things that were addressed in the article and obviously in the speech. We're going to link the article in the video. If you have any questions, go read the article. If you have any other questions, definitely reach out to us. Hopefully you found some value in this video. Until the next video, we'll see you.